so far this month, Mix It Up May. Everybody, oh hey Laura, saw you join. Everybody has been working on some different styles of collage. So we've started with abstract collages, so collages that were non-representational. That means that they are like a cloud where anybody who looks at it can see something different. So we started with an abstract collage. Then we moved on to an animal collage, which was very representational. So that hopefully if somebody looked at our collage, they saw whatever animal it is that we were planning on making. And then last week we did a landscape collage, and we talked a lot about the foreground, the midground, and the background of a picture. So a lot of times that's called like the rule of thirds, and it can help you break up your picture, especially if it's a landscape. It can help break up your picture into like chunks that kind of are visually appealing. So you have the foreground, which is the stuff that's in the front, midground in the middle, and the background, whatever is the farthest away. So we did those collages. Today, we are going to do a portrait collage. And for a portrait collage, it depends on what you want to do. I'm going to do a self-portrait collage, so I'm going to do me. But if you want to do a collage of somebody else, you can too. I will tell you, just like all the collages this month, you're not going to finish it in this 1 hour class. This is kind of just a starting point. It's a starting point for you. And I'll show you kind of how I work through. A lot of collage is gathering your paper, is gathering the swatches that you need, it's gathering the colors that you would like, is trying to cut out all the little bits and pieces, is like assembling. Oh, that's a lot of a collage, and a lot of the pre-work for a collage. And so it does take time. And the more time and effort you dedicate into it, you generally, like, the more beautiful a collage or more fantastic a collage will be, because you can really start to see the amount of effort that it takes to really finish a collage. So to start, especially for a portrait, you want to start with a sketch. And like I said, I'm going to do myself, and I didn't want this to take forever. I wanted to actually get started a little bit, but I will show you, hopefully you'll be able to see a little bit of what I've done, because I did it on black paper. Ooh, let me turn this light off. So I knew I wanted to do a self-portrait, and I knew I wanted to start on a different color of paper. So I started mine on some black paper, black background. Remove this, don't need that. And one of the things I also knew was I wanted to kind of focus on was the composition. I knew I didn't want my portrait to be in the middle. I knew I wanted a 3/4 profile, so a profile that where you're looking kind of diagonally. You're not looking straight to the side like a profile. You're not looking straight to the front like a front-facing angle. You're kind of 3/4 length, so you're kind of tilted about like that. So that's kind of how I knew I wanted to do. And self-portraits are kind of awesome because your face is always there for you. It's kind of like learning how to draw your hand. Drawing your hand is a good subject, because you can always see it. It's right there. You bring it along with you. Your face, you bring it along with you. So a self-portrait is always kind of a nice thing to try out. But I do think that it's best when you're doing a portrait to start with a sketch. So whether you're drawing somebody else, whether you're drawing yourself, you do kind of want to start with a drawing. It doesn't have to be an incredibly detailed drawing, but you do want to have the proportions kind of mapped out. You do want to think about, your composition. Is your picture going to be right in the front? Is it going to be to the side? The way I did mine, I knew I wanted it to be going off the page. So that's kind of how I started mine. So I'm just going to keep working and add a little bit more to my sketch. When I do mine, I generally like to have a mirror, or in my case, I'm actually just using my phone camera. And I usually just set it up, and I use my phone camera to help me do the drawing. And I'm really trying to focus in on a couple things. So because I've already kind of started this a little bit, after I've done kind of the drawing, I want to start to think about where the areas of darkness are in my picture and where the areas of lightness are in my picture. So, and I might even like kind of draw them in a little bit. So like, I know that there's an area of shadow that's going to be all along the side of my cheek, kind of comes up. I'm looking at it right now, comes up and it kind of goes over here. This whole side of my cheek is going to be in shadow because it's the shadow that's caused by this hair that's coming down in front. I know that there's going to be a little bit of shadow under my eyes, or that color is going to be like a little bit bluer. So I'm really looking for the shadows. I'm really looking for, I haven't even gotten to the highlights. I'm starting with the shadows. So now I'm actually kind of drawing them in a little bit, and it can look weird. That's okay, because you're going to be covering all of this up with paper. I know for sure that my nostrils in here are going to be a super dark shadow. I'm going to have a really dark area right in here. There's this area right in the curve of my nose is going to be darker. There's like a little bit of a hint of shadow right here. There's, I have to stop talking for a second if I look at my lips. So otherwise my lips start moving. And now that's going to be right there. Maybe I want to do my lips open. If I want to do open, then there's going to be some shadows in the inside of the lips. So the portrait that you do is only as good as the base drawing. So you want to make sure that you have everything in proportion. I do suggest, like I really zoomed in. I didn't want to do a tiny little itty bitty head in, like, you know, far away, because the pieces that you cut out, if you've done collage with me this month, then you might have realized how tricky it can be. It's sometimes how tiny the little pieces of paper get. So it is kind of nice to do something that's a little bit larger. Just kind of quickly kind of shading in the area that I'm going to be adding in color for my eyes, and I'm going to leave some reflections in there. I know this looks crazy, and that's okay, because like I said, it's going to be covered up. This is really just planning out the areas of highlight and shadow. Over here is going to be in shadow too, because there's a shadow cast by the hair. And down here, the chin is going to be a little bit in shadow. Now the areas, now I'm just going to start looking for the areas that are lighter. So the areas that are lighter are going to be right in here in my nose, the tip of my nose right here, at the top of my nose. Oh, there's a shadow in here. So like the two little bits in the top of the lip, that's going to be in shadow, but the two areas on the side are going to be in highlighted. Okay, so now that I kind of have my sketch drawn a little bit, underneath my chin is going to be in shadow. Okay, now that I have that drawn in, the next step, and this is the step that takes a while, is you got to go and collect bits of paper. So the way that I was doing collages, I'm kind of treating the paper, all this colored paper, as almost as like brush strokes. So each of these little pieces is almost like its own little brush stroke. And you know what? I'm not even going to start with the face. I'm actually going to start with the hair, because I think that starting with the face would be a little tricky. I'm going to do the hair, and I might move on to the eyes. But so, because doing the face is definitely going to take a long time, and you want to make sure that you're getting lots and lots of different shades of skin tones, because like I said, some of those shades, some of these darker areas are going to be like this shaded, shadowy areas. And some of these lighter areas, or lighter skin tones, are going to become the tones that are for your cheeks or for your top of your nose. And it can take a while to find all of the right like shades that you need. So, but once you have them, you can start kind of piecing them in. For the hair, I'm doing the same thing. I just cut out a bunch of like different types of brown tones with reds in them. And now I'm going to think about where I might place some of these pieces. So I'm going to actually cut out some of these like pieces that are closer to my face, might be a little bit darker in tone. Does anybody have any questions about collage? This is our last collage that we're doing together, guys. So if anybody has any questions, you're welcome to ask. Is anybody doing a self-portrait, or is everybody just doing something different? Are you doing a collage? Are you drawing? What's going on? There will be an attempt. Awesome, Jay. I love it. I love the attempts. I think that like I said, this month is all about experimenting. It's all about trying something new.
I think Nikki would like to share.
Yeah, what's up, Nikki?
I'm doing a self-portrait. Before we started class, I drew myself.
That's awesome. Wow, that looks great.
And
I love it.
the skin color is
Really
going
nice.
to be yellow.
Really nice job. I love that bright yellow. Yeah, that looks awesome. Very cool. I love that you're doing a self-portrait too. That's they can be challenging. This is definitely the most challenging collage we're attempting this month. That's why I saved it for last.
I was gonna do my mom, but I just decided to.
You know what? I love doing self-portraits because like you better than anybody else. So and the truth with a portrait is each portrait, like I think with collage, when I'm doing a collage, I kind of consider each portrait to be more like a version of myself rather than an exact likeness. So I'm not trying to like create an exact picture of me. I'm more just trying to create a likeness. So it doesn't have to look exactly like me. It's more just, there, I think something like that. So I'm just cutting out little like bits of hair. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. So yeah, so I'm not creating this isn't a drawing. I'm not doing a realistic style drawing here. This is a lot more abstract than that. Like some hair bits coming down like that. Oh, except I think they need to be a little shorter. Things. The cool thing about collage too, and I probably have said this before, but it's a really forgiving medium in the sense that if you don't like something, you can cover it up. If you make a mistake, or if you think something's not quite right, you can move things around. It's like a very forgiving medium, which is a lot of medium. Painting is not like that. If you're working with Naileen, watercolor is definitely not a very forgiving medium. But I'm sure she's teaching you guys some tricks to like help overcome any obstacles with watercolors. Collage is a very forgiving, it can be a very forgiving medium. I'm just kind of adding in some bangs here. Okay. It is truly starting to feel like summer right now. I'm super excited. I feel like summer is just around the corner right now. Is everybody still in school, or are you guys almost out? You're trying to do Avery. Oh, yeah. Nice, Jay. So if you're doing a portrait of a person, you might want to take a photograph. Like that can be helpful. Or maybe a screenshot. But I love the challenge of doing somebody new. Oh my goodness. All right, let me move things around here. Gotta fix that corner right there. Oh man, I need. Oh, I kind of like this little piece right here, coming down like that. Okay. You can kind of try to place the pieces the way you want them. I wish I had some more of this paper. I'm gonna have to go on a hunt and see if I can find some more browns. I used up all the ones I have, but I think I want another piece back here. Try this one, but it's got like a weird light. So yeah, let me see if I can find this work. Maybe this will work. It's a little bit of a different tone and color, but yeah, that can work. Let me switch these around. What if I put this here? See, I like to move things around as I work. That there, and then maybe move this one up here and see what happens. Yeah, I like that better. Cool. All right. Okay, so now that I have those, I normally wouldn't do this right away, but only because I'm kind of working quickly, I am going to go ahead and glue down some of these brown pieces because I'm afraid that I'm going to lose them otherwise. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Especially because I'm working on black paper. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but you got to be careful. I always put the glue on the small piece. Never like put the glue on the background and just start sticking stuff down because especially with black paper, the colors can, or the white, what is supposed to be invisible glue will show up, and like when it dries, it'll leave like kind of gross looking white streaks on your paper. So that's why I always try to put it on the piece that I'm gluing. And if you're using glue stick, or if you're using just plain old white glue, it's pretty forgiving too, in that you can, for a little bit of time at least, move your pieces around until they're in the right place. And don't worry about going over the top of your paper. It's better to do that than to leave paper on the top, because you're gonna cut it all off and trim it up afterwards anyways. I really think that like some of the coolest collages that come out are portrait collages, because like I said, they're one of the more challenging ones, and you can really see the amount of effort that gets put into a collage like this. They come out really stunning. Okay. Oh, you were kidding, Jay. All right. Let's see. Put this here like that. Do this. If any of you guys live in Southern California, near the Irvine area, this summer we're going to have a bunch of different camps and programs that are out of the Great Park. So look for that. There we'll be posting about them soon. We're gonna have, if you know Chuck Jones, if you've been with us for a while, you may remember, and we didn't do it last year, but we almost every year we have like a big event called the Big Draw, which is super fun. It's like it's like an art carnival where there's just, you know, different booths set up, and we have kids can come and do like art. There's all these tables set up, and you can come and make some really cool stuff. So that will be happening actually, do we know the date, Scott? I don't know if we know the exact date. I think it might be in September.
September, I don't know the exact date.
Yeah, I don't know the exact date, but in September that's going to happen. It's super fun event. We're going to be doing it at the Great Park this year, which will be awesome. We'll let you know more about it as we do. Okay. There we go. All right, there's some hair on that side. I'm going to glue down some of these pieces up here. And then I think I'm going to start to work on the eye a little bit. So like I said, the smaller you do your portrait, the tinier you have to cut out the little pieces for your eyes and nose and mouth and all the colors. So we're just working on layering and layering until you fill the entire page, which, like I said, may or may not happen today. So when I'm doing this, I'm focusing far more on color and texture when I'm cutting out these shapes of paper. So I'm not really thinking about shapes so much because I've already laid down the shapes. I already know what the shapes are going to be because I have that drawing that I'm working from. You also don't have to cover your entire paper. Like if you are working and I think this should be underneath here, and you want to leave some of the white paper shining through, that's an interesting choice too. That is something that you can do. Don't feel like you have to cover everything. Like when I'm doing this, maybe I leave some of this black coming through. Oh, I don't like that. Make sure I knew where these pieces go. I've forgotten how they were going in. It's going to go like. Does anybody have any questions, or are we all good? That area, but I can do that. If you guys have a question or if you want to share something, as always, just give a shout out and I can troubleshoot. So with portraits, I always feel like the soul of a portrait is the eyes. So I'm gonna take some time and do the eyes next. It's kind of the area that it's just because we're humans, we're trained from basically from birth to notice the face. And especially, we like to look at eyes. Up like this. Go. All right. So I'm liking the hair so far. I think I'm gonna pause here. Make sure everything's flat. Kind of press it down. And now I need to focus on the eyes. So you really want to keep the whites of the eyes, you really want those to actually be white. But the truth is that although our eyes, if I used like this super bright, like white color, white of a piece of paper, it might be too bright because our eyes, while the whites of our eyes are white, they're actually a little bit grayish because of the shadows. So I'm gonna find some kind of white grayish colors. And I only know that because I've drawn an eye a bunch of times. So the whites of your eyes are really just a little bit gray. Here, this is the one I wanted. Okay. So I'm gonna look through here and see if I find a good kind of grayish tone. Ooh. Good. Oh, maybe this. Like an off-white, not like this. I'm trying to find a piece that's big enough that I know I can do both my eyes with. It may or may not be. But I think it will. Try this. Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and try to cut out that eye shape. And it's super helpful to be looking at your image or at your, in my case, at the camera as I'm cutting and as I'm like kind of, so I'm just making my eye shape. I'm just kind of trying to cut out the shape that I didn't draw it. Sometimes it can be helpful if you want to redraw what you've done on paper, on your piece of paper that you're cutting out. Or if you feel like confident in cutting, you can just cut it straight out the way I'm doing it. And I'm really trying to focus on like the edges are kind of rounded. That's going to be too big. I'm going to cut that down. And because of the perspective of how you're drawing your face, your eyes might not be the exact, both eyes might not be the exact same shape or same size. One might be closer to you, it might be bigger. One might be farther away. Maybe a little more narrow. About that size. And it's going to have to tuck underneath some of his hair. Make sure that I can get that under. I'm going to have to use like a little X-Acto or something to pry that up a little bit to tuck it under. It's going to look real creepy right now, just the whites of the eyes showing. But that's okay, because I know it's going to look different when I'm done with it. A little more narrow. Okay. Sorry, this is a super quiet class today, guys. A lot of this is just working. Do you have any, has anybody tried to do any other collages? So I know that looks kind of creepy, and that's okay. Just gonna round this a little bit because even though it's the shape, so your eye, the white part is really just a ball on the inside. Our eye actually is not almond shaped the way that I'm cutting it out. So I'm actually gonna round out those corners a little bit more because the white part is more rounded. Okay. Now I'm gonna try to find a good color for the iris. Iris is the colored part of your eye. And on mine, it's kind of a greenish color. So I'm gonna try to find, oh, I like this right here. A good greenish color. Magazines are great for eye color because you can maybe find a piece of paper that has like some different tones in it and see how that might look. So maybe I like this, maybe not. Go ahead and cut out the iris. It's gonna look real creepy. Whoa! Looks creepy. Right. Start to cut this down to size a little bit. So I tend to cut things bigger and then trim away as I'm working. There we go. That's looking a little better. It's a little creepy, but that's okay. I'm not done yet. The circle. Okay. A little bit off center to make the circle right. Fix that. Round it out a little bit. this. Trim this down to size a little bit too big. About like that. Under. Oops. Let's see if I can get this up. There we go. A little better. Tuck it under. Like that. And this one's going to kind of go like this. And then I'm going to trim this one down just a little bit. This one's iris is a little big. Just down. So I want to look at my actual eye and see what the proportion of iris is to the white part. And oh yeah, I can see right away there's still too much white. So I'm going to trim that down even more. There we go. And that's okay because all the other parts around my eye, like the eyelid, that all is like flesh colored. So I'm going to have to go back in and add in those pieces with some flesh tone. This I think also needs to get cut down a little bit more. So it's a lot of just super tiny little cuts. Okay. This one needs to get cut down just a little bit. Okay, and then I need to find, so everybody's pupils are black, no matter what color your iris is. Everybody's pupils are black, so I need to find a good black for my pupil. And I know this looks kind of crazy, and that's okay. Because like I said, you're actually going to be building, or at least how I'm going to do it, is I'm going to build around it the flesh tone colors that are going to come up right up near it. I might not glue these eyes down just yet. I might just kind of make them and set them to the side. Okay, let's see, let's find some black. There's no black in that one. Try this one. You know what? I can use, I have another sheet of black paper. I can use that. Just cut a little piece out, a little corner. Okay. I'm going to cut these little pupils out. I'm really trying to add in all the little details. Okay. So a good trick for making, if you need something, if you're doing a collage and you need like perfect circles, using a hole punch is always a nice trick. In fact, when I was teaching art, I in the classroom I had in my art room I had a bunch of different size hole punches, which was kind of nice. So I had like smaller ones and bigger ones. You can get hole punches of all different sizes, which is kind of cool. Okay. And I'm going to add in a reflection just because, like I said, the eyes are the soul of a portrait. So and it's always kind of nice to add little details in. Okay. Let's see if this will be the right color. Try this. So you're cutting out super tiny little things, especially if you started small on your portrait, then some of the pieces that you might be cutting are minuscule. So one of the trickiest parts of a portrait, a collage portrait, is to try to get the nose, because you're not drawing in lines for the nose. You have to use different shades, different colors of paper to kind of achieve the effect of a nose. So you're looking for areas of light, areas of dark, which I haven't gotten there yet, but that might be the next thing I do, is try to start finding like lots of little pieces of flesh tone colors, which I started doing, but I just didn't collect enough yet. Okay, so I'm gonna put the reflection kind of in the same spot on both of my eyes, so that, because it's coming from the same window. Okay, so just like that. All right, I know it's a little extra. It's almost still a little too much white, so I'm actually going to trim it down yet again. I've trimmed these eyes down so many times, but that's okay. I'm going to do it again because maybe I don't want that much white on the top. Or on the bottom. There we go. That looks a bit better. Okay. There we go. So there are some eyes. All right, so now I'm gonna start thinking about flesh tones. And like I said, it's a lot of finding the right colors. So these are some of the pieces I found. It's not nearly enough. So I could start thinking about where these colors might go. This might be able to go back here like this. Start building. How's everybody doing? We feeling okay? This is tricky. It's really glued down here. I need to be able to pull this up a little bit so I can fit this underneath. There we go. So mixed media pictures are also kind of interesting. If you've ever done a portrait and you like, or if you start something and you I'm not gonna have time to finish, and you want to just have at it with a different medium like colored pencils or paint, go for it. Go for it. Mixed media pictures sometimes come out the coolest because you get the real like the coolest effects. So I'm just going to start to layer colors on. Hmm. So I'm definitely going to need more, but can you start to see how the shape of the space is taking, how it's literally taking shape just by kind of placing down these flesh tone colors? Like I definitely need to find more. I definitely need more. But the challenge is in trying to cut out pieces of paper that are the shapes of the highlights and the shapes of the shadows. So that's kind of what you're going for. Put this under here like this. Probably do something like that along the lines of that. And then I obviously need to get far more bits. But all right, there's the start. There's the start of my portrait. All right. Does anybody want to share what they've got so far? Because I'm looking at the clock and it is already 3:20. Oh my gosh, this class goes by so fast. No? All right. Well, then I'm going to keep sourcing little bits of flesh colored paper. Why not? Why not?
Avery says maybe in a minute.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so the best kind of magazines for portraits, for pictures like this, or portraits, are like fashion magazines. Unfortunately, all I have are like Eating Well and Food and Wine and Home and Garden. I had a donation of magazines, but they were not fashion magazines. Aha, found the page.
Like
with
Nikki
some
would
skin
like to
tones.
share.
Say that again. Who wants to?
Nikki would like to share.
I'd love to see Nikki. How's it going?
I did most of it. I started by cutting all the things for my body.
Uh-huh.
But then I just glued down the background, and then I did the body, and then I'm gonna add the hair.
Oh, wow. That looks awesome. That looks awesome.
My favorite color is pink, and I'm gonna add my hair, so I'm gonna add pink.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's great. Oh my gosh. So cool. So cool. That looks awesome. Thank you for showing us. Very cool.
Here's Avery.
Avery, let's see.
Okay, give me a second to pull it up. I did a digital thing.
Or is that Laura? Oh, awesome. Wow. It's almost, you made it like a sticker. That's great. The mouth and the teeth is really good. I like the texture of his like spiky hair. I also like how you've done like highlights in his hair. So there's like the highlight lit area, and like so you can see where the sun is coming from. And you keep I can tell that you're really focusing because you got the shadow underneath his chin, and like the highlight area stays consistent, which is awesome. Really nice. Thank you for sharing that with us.
No problem.
Okay. Oh, man, I am struggling to find flesh tone colors. I have the wrong type of magazine for this. But I'm sure you guys can kind of get a sense of where this portrait is going. Kind of a little bit. Here's a little bit. It's a very light color. It's a lighter flesh tone color. So I might want to, not sure where I would put this one. For now. I'll put it here, but I don't think I would keep it here because it's so very different than some of the other flesh tones. Oh, here's some. A much larger piece. I might. Actually, it's kind of a nice chin piece right here. Yeah, I like that. It's almost like a puzzle. I feel like I'm putting together a puzzle with all of these different pieces of paper.
Rosebrick Studios says, I have a drawing that was meant for this class. It's not magazine clippings, though.
Oh, I'd love to see. Love to see. Like I said, whoa, that's beautiful. Wow, it's a self-portrait, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally tell it. You really kind of captured the essence of you. I can see it in your lips. That's
Thanks.
awesome. Really nice. Really, really nice. Nice drawing. I like the line work on the hair is really the lines are really lovely, the way they curve.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Very nice. Very, very nice. All right. Well, so I know it's not done. It kind of looks like a face that's been fractured. It's a fractured face right now. But you can kind of get the sense of where I'm going. Obviously, like I've mentioned, I think every class that collage takes a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of effort. So I never expect anybody to be finished in this short period of time. But you
I
can,
see another hand up.
yeah.
Nikki?
I know I just did one a second ago.
That's okay. Good
Your,
show.
your one is amazing. Second of all, this is mine.
Oh, nice. Oh, I love the pink. Oh, now that I can see the pink in your hair. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just did a red shirt because I thought it would like kind of stand out with my pink hair.
Yeah.
I made my skin yellow because
That's okay. That's what you
my
had.
skin was yellow.
That's okay. You had yellow construction paper and you work with what you have.
Yeah, and
Well, I like the grass background that you've done. I think that's awesome.
yeah, it was from like a calendar. My mom did this one. She participates in all of the
Oh,
classes.
that's awesome. Whoa.
I
Tell your mom that the shadow along the edge of her nose is perfect. And also like the shadow on her neck.
She's
That
right
looks-
there.
Oh, tell her that looks awesome. And I love that you join in. That's great.
Always fun.
Yeah. I also like about hers is it's 3D.
It
A
is.
little
I
bit-
know. It is 3D. The hair is very. Who did she do? Is it a self portrait or is it somebody else?
It
Maybe my sister. She's
it
got
might
curly
be
blonde
my
hair.
sister, but she just like said that it was like a random person that she just made up in her mind. So
With some curls. They've got some curls.
yeah, she ripped up pieces of paper. So
That's awesome. I love it. And I just noticed all the collages that are on your wall. I love that you hang your work up. That's so
my
cool.
mom did that one. I called it a stormy night. She said like before these, she thought it would be like a sea thing, but I saw stormy clouds, so she put lightning.
Oh, that's so cool. I love it. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Those are some good collage examples. Oh, thank you for sharing.
My
Hi,
brother-
Heather Rose and Liliana?
Hi.
We never actually finished doing our collage, but we have the sketches for the collage.
Let's see. Ooh, what a good portrait. I love this. Wait, does she have jellyfish on her shirt? Or no, are they, what's on her shirt?
Jellyfish.
That's awesome. I like the eyes and I also like how you've done the hair. Great. Oh, very nice. Oh, that's a beautiful profile. That's a great profile. I will say that would be really hard to do in collage. You'd have to cut it so tiny. Everything has to be super, super little.
We don't have very many collage resources, so I can't make anything really big.
That's okay. Honestly, like it's tricky. It is definitely tricky. And you have to, we had a donation of magazines. That's why what I'm working from. But oh my gosh, I'm so impressed with everybody's work.
Tater would like to share?
Yeah, let's see. Hey, Tater.
Just a sketch of some attempted diesel punk type fashion going on. So yeah.
Nice. That's
Thank
a
you.
rad jacket. You're like, didn't you say you sew? Or you should try to. Have you ever tried to do a jacket?
Oh, I made a smaller one for a toy, but yeah.
Jackets are not easy. Like I'm not. I think I've told you guys before that I'm not a good sewer, but I can hand stitch. That's all. I'm daunted by sewing machines. I never know exactly how to do them. But I hope you guys had fun. I hope you learned something this month. I hope that I know that's, between me and Naleen and Ben and Daryl, I know we've covered a lot of cool stuff, a lot of different mediums. So I hope that you guys have kind of stepped outside your comfort zone and tried something that you might not have tried before, because it can be fun. Like you can either find a new medium that you really love, or you can say, hey, that was not my medium for me, and that's totally fine. But it's cool to try. All right. Oh my goodness. I just looked over here and I see 28 messages. Oh, thank you, Scott, for posting that. As always, if you have it, if you have the means to, please donate. These classes are free. They're for you guys. We do them just for everybody, anybody who comes and joins. But it is always nice to have some donations coming into our center. It helps us keep these classes open and running for you guys. Next month, I know, I agree, Liliana and Heather Rose. They are, everybody here is really, really talented. Everybody here is also really dedicated. Like, I know I've mentioned this before, but everybody here, like most of these people here, like you guys you're consistent at coming and you're consistent at making art, which is awesome. And that's where art comes from. An artist is not just somebody who wakes up one day and is like, aha, I'm an artist. An artist is somebody who puts in the work, and you guys are putting in the work. So be really proud of that. Agree, Jay. Totally agree. All right. Next month, it's kind of going to be a little bit of a smorgasbord, but we will be posting our classes soon. I hope everybody has a great rest of their week, and we'll see you next month. Okay. All right. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.